Hello everyone and welcome back to my Let's Play Kerbal Space Program series. Today is a special day because we have finally been able to upgrade to the asteroid redirect mission patch. So we can get an advanced grabber once we get some science. Not that I'm really particularly interested in the whole asteroid redirect part, but I am interested in the new parts. Don't really get much from asteroids right now. You can get a little bit of science, but that's it. Once they get better integrated into the rest of the game, then they'll probably be worth doing. I may, at some point in the later game, or in a future episode, move an asteroid closer to Kerbal just for future use. But right now, not particularly interested in it. I've also added some mods and updated everything to this patch, which meant that I've spent about 15 minutes clicking on stuff in the tech tree to make sure that we have all the parts. And while I was waiting for all the mods to get updated, I've been working on our moon base and how we're going to put it together and all of that stuff. Starting with a crane. Instead of... I've also been derping around and designing stuff like the Dreister down there. So, what was I saying? I can't remember. But crane, yes. Something about a crane. That I haven't completely finished. Let's finish this real fast. Things about... Instead of having each individual section have to move itself around, I've designed this little crane here. Let's go ahead and take you for a test drive. Taking its sweet time. The idea being, I can take these and attach them, or eventually I'll get some magnets and then attach them to, so we have the up and down. I attach them to these, but right now it's going to be manned, so we'll have to attach them to points on the thingamadoppers. But you can go, spread them out, and left, right, front, right there, which is to line up with whatever we're going to be down there, and then ideally we would see GUI. Eject, and that would connect to whatever is underneath us, and then we could retract them all at really fast speed until the craft gets up off the ground wherever we want it, or something like that. Do need to fiddle with these a little bit so that we have a little more control, as we're going to be docking things that are hooked up to this, so we want to have a tiny bit more stuff going on. This is not a particularly fast craft. It does have a lot of these nuclear power things to help with... Let's get rid of that. To help with, what was I saying? The electromagnets. And it's got some more solar panels here, a driver's seat there, some lights, both for the work area and to see where you're going. It does, however, have these tires which don't in fact steer, don't pivot. They instead steer like a tank, which means one side goes faster than the other side goes in reverse. Downside of that being is that if you exceed the maximum speed of the tires, you cannot stop or turn at all. You can stop eventually, but you can't turn. You completely lose control. But that's not a big deal since we're just designing this to move stuff in a short range. And some mods that I have installed. Let's return to Spaceplane hangar. I installed TAC fuel balancer just since we're planning on doing interstellar or extraterrestrial, I guess would be the proper word, extraterrestrial aviation. Having a fuel balancer is pretty important for good planes, especially when we're going to be flying in some rather difficult places. I've added Nova Punch as well as KW rocketry, I think it's called. KW rocketry I added because it has a lot more aerodynamically designed parts, like say this one, which works far better with FAR, Ferrum Aerospace Research, whatever it's called. Way better than the stock parts. Much higher terminal velocity, better stability, all kinds of nice stuff there. And Nova Punch for some additional 3.75 meter parts, as well as some big giant 5 meter parts, because bigger rockets means fewer parts, which means less lag. That'll help with our space station, or with our moon base as well. We can have a big giant 5 meter tank instead of a lot of little ones. Fewer parts, all good. And then I think I want to add something else to this, which is, if I can, I would like to add the ability to steer sideways. Not by default, but if I can push that wheel down a little bit. I think that'll help a lot with being able to dock. How far up? I'm going to align this just about. Yeah, let's do. Put it like this. Hopefully this doesn't get in the way of any parts that we have. Let's see. I'm lining up the top of the other one with the little part there. It's kind of hard to get symmetry across all parts. I will try to remember to put all the mods that I have. I'll compile a list once I stop being too lazy to do it. But at some point I will compile a list. See, now we just gotta figure out which rail is which, and we have no idea. Right. Okay, that's going to be a problem, isn't it? Adjustable rail. Adjustable rail. I will do this off camera and then save this. Now then, what we have to do is come up with some way to get this off the ground and into space, into the moon, in a small area. How I'm going to do that, I have no clue. Just added these docking ports so that I can upgrade this later if I want to add some more stuff to it. And I think I might want to put like a big crane on top of it. Maybe Jebediah has some ideas about how to do this. I'll go ask him and be right back with a time lapse. Straight to the launch. I had recorded the building part, but it took a very, very, very long time. This is the second design concept that I came up with. The first one, I tried to launch it hanging off the side with a counterweight on one side. Unfortunately, that did not work very well. The drag difference between the two with Ferrum Aerospace makes a huge difference. If I was using just the vanilla drag model, I probably could have pulled that off, but not with Ferrum Aerospace. Even launching it like this, it was pretty difficult to keep it straight. If you did any kind of real gravity turn, it would flip over. I had to try this 3 times just to get it up to orbit, but now we've managed to do so. Here I'm using the 2.5 meter nuclear engine from, I think it's from Nova Punch. I believe it's from Nova Punch. But I like it a lot. It's a lot easier than having to use 4 or 5 of the vanilla 1.25 nuclear engines. And you don't have the overheating problem that we would have with clustering engines and all that crap. So off to the moon, using MechJeb a little bit to help me from getting bored of doing this over and over, since we're going to be launching so many missions. I just use it as a bit of a shortcut for the node planning, at least some of the time, and use the maneuver node editor to align us to be just about 20 kilometers above the surface periapsis. It's, I think, 25 kilometers is the cutoff for one of the warp levels. 10 kilometers is the other cutoff. So you want to either be above 25 or at least above 10. Anything below 10 and you're going to go really, really slow. Next we have MechJeb helping us with a little bit of landing. I'm not quite sure how well MechJeb is going to do in places with atmosphere. It does have the aerobraking calculation, but that doesn't take into account Ferrum Aerospace, I do not believe. And we deploy our little arms and quantum struts. Now then, back to normal time for the actual landing. MechJeb is concerning me a little bit. With how it is not, facing away from the ground and burning. Which is what you would expect when you're plummeting towards the moon. And, running a landing autopilot. But no, it seems to want to burn towards the ground. Of course, this is a little bit wobbly, well, a lot wobbly, due to the fact that these telescoping pistons are not all that stable. I wonder if I could maybe boost the node size on them to give them more rigidity. I'm not sure on that. Okay, now then MechJeb finally decides to point the right end towards space. And we are going rather quickly down, but we still have a couple kilometers to go before we hit the ground. So I guess it's not too bad. We do have a fair amount of thrust weight. Oh, that bursting thing is just not good for the wobbly thing. Thankfully we have a ton of RCS to help with that. I'm not quite sure what it's doing now. other than wasting fuel, we have precious few drops of fuel remaining. And we still have about 3 times that much speed to bleed off. Oh, and now we're out of fuel, trying to use the RCS to slow me down, and wham! Right into the moon. Thankfully we had these big beefy tires. We blew every single tire we have though. Try to use RCS and SAS to help out. MechJet was probably not the best idea to use right there. Not only did we completely overshoot the landing area, oh well, I didn't need that anymore anyway. Out of fuel, who needs engines? Yeah, not only did we completely overshoot the landing area, we wasted too much fuel trying to land. And now we're falling and cannot get up. Trying to get back upright, maybe, no. Come on. If I could just get the right amount of grip on the surface, but the wheels, they're just too big. RCS, just not enough oomph. And given that we don't have any Kerbonauts around at the moment, there's really not much we can do. I think next episode we will have to launch a bit of a mission. Maybe we can get it over. Maybe. Come on. You can do it. Almost. A little bit more. A little bit. Ah, oh, come on. Oh, so close. So close. Yeah, next we'll have to launch some kind of mission to fix this. They'll probably do that next episode. This is going to be the end of this episode. Like if you like, subscribe if you're not. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time!